Exploration. That's what Pokemon is all about. Every single game brings a completely brand new world to explore, filled with a ton of new experiences, interactions, and Pokemon to capture. Exploring the different landscapes of each region creates a sense of wonder as you grow as a trainer. But exploration and battling aren't everything. A part of the charm in Pokemon is the various towns and cities the player stops by throughout their journey. These small havens serve as a peaceful checkpoint where you can heal your Pokemon, restock on healing items, and in general, just get to spend a few minutes away from the constant attacks of wild Pokemon. But looking deeper, we see that not all cities are created equal. While some are a peaceful break from the elements, others turn out to be the exact opposite of that. Because to nobody else's fault but Game Freak's, there are some places that, with just a few mistakes, can end up being your worst nightmare. And today, we're going to take a look at the most unassuming one, Cerulean City. Because with a simple setup, this quiet little town can create a near inescapable softlock, making anyone foolish enough trapped there for eternity. Today's episode begins with Red yet again, but unlike last time, he wasn't so fortunate. You see, during his trip through Mount Moon, he had a bit of a run-in with Team Rocket, and now he's left with basically nothing. No money, no items, and almost no Pokemon. Exhausted, Red climbs his way out of Mount Moon as to not make a situation any worse than it already is. I mean, he's just a 10-year-old kid. What cruel-hearted people would go out of their way to rob every last Pokédollar from an innocent child? But of course, this is the world of Pokemon. It's a silent one, and there's no one to help you out on your journey but yourself. Thankfully, Red is a resilient kid, and he's not going to let one small bump on the road stop him from achieving his dream of becoming the Pokemon champion. And besides, he's already almost at Cerulean City, where he can take a quick rest, heal up his Pokemon, and start fresh again. But unfortunately, as knowledgeable as Red is about Pokemon, one thing that he isn't quite as sharp on is geography. As he reaches the end of the route, he hops over the ledge to Cerulean City. In his mind, he believes that he's finally reached safety. But as it'll soon turn out, while this ledge seems completely unassuming, he's made a fatal mistake. In just a few minutes, he'll find out that this single ledge will be the reason for his eternal suffering. As soon as Red steps foot in Cerulean City, he does what every normal trainer does when they enter a new town. He heads straight for the Pokemon Center. He goes inside, heals his Pokemon, saves his game, and heads right out. Feeling refreshed, he decides to take a moment to explore the city to see if there's anything laying on the ground or if anyone has anything to give to him. And after some time, he finds a hidden rare candy in the backyard of some old man's house. Well, that's nice. He decides to feed it to Caterpie since it evolves into Butterfree at just level 10. Okay, now where to? Well, first and most obvious, he can go challenge the gym leader, Misty, to get his second badge. However, he then remembers the predicament he's in. There's no way he'd win with just 2 weak Pokemon. Okay, well, that's not a problem. He can just head north to Nugget Bridge. After all, Route 25 is where Bill lives, and surely he can give Red a helping hand. Unfortunately though, as Red sprints towards Nugget Bridge, he's met with the familiar, unwelcoming face, Blue. Red already beat him twice before, but this time, Blue's more prepared. He demands Red battle him, not letting him pass, or even move at all, until he does so. Normally, this would just be a minor inconvenience for Red. Problem is, this time, he doesn't have the Pokemon he had before. And as expected, the battle ends just as quick as it started. Red wakes up at the Pokemon Center moments later as Nurse Joy wishes him safe travels as usual, but this time, there's an uneasy feeling in Red's stomach. He tries going into the Cerulean City gym to see if there's somehow any escape there, but just like the rival on Nugget Bridge, he immediately gets wiped out. He can't even make it past the first trainer. Okay, well, surely there's something he can do, right? Well, as he frantically runs around Cerulean City, he realizes that every single way of exiting the city has been blocked off. To the south is a girl teaching her Slowbro to cut down a tree. Unfortunately, she seems unwilling to move out of the way. But worse, as he heads to the northern part of the city, his heart drops as he sees that the only other way out of the city has also been blocked off. Standing in front of the house is a police officer who tells Red that the area is closed for the time being due to a recent robbery by Team Rocket. Of course it would be them. With the situation looking even more bleak, Red decides that his only way out is to train up his 2 Pokemon. While a team of a level 4 Caterpie and level 5 Magikarp may not be powerful right now, having a fully evolved Butterfree and Gyarados will let Red plow through both Blue and Misty with ease. However, as Red encounters his first Pokemon in the tall grass, he realizes that this escape route is also a dead end. In Route 4, there are 5 Pokemon that can be found: Rattata, Spearow, Ekans, Sandshrew, and Mankey. Not particularly strong Pokemon, but that doesn't matter because of one shared trait. They all have at least one attacking move. But even worse, every single Pokemon on Route 4 is higher leveled than both of Red's Pokemon, meaning that no matter how weak of an encounter he gets, Red stands 0 chance against them. With that, the true reality of the situation has dawned upon Red. He can't win a single battle. Not against Blue, not against any of the trainers in Misty's gym. He can't even beat the weak wild Pokemon. In other words, he can't level up his team members, and therefore he can't progress any further on his journey. It's not like he can catch any of the wild Pokemon in the grass either, because that Team Rocket grunt took everything that he had, so he can't buy Pokeballs. And to top it all off, that ledge that Red took to enter the city is a one-way trip. There's no way out of Cerulean City. He's stuck forever. Sure, there's always the escape method of trading one of his Pokemon on the 2nd floor of the Pokemon Center, but friends? Who has those? And even if Red did have someone he knew to trade with, the fact still remains that Cerulean City is horribly designed. For some unknown reason, there's no proper way out of the city unless you have a Pokemon with Cut, which no trainer will have when first visiting. Why is the only way out through the back door of a random person's house? Why is it that this city seems like it's doing everything it can to trap innocent young trainers who are stumbling into it for the first time? It could just be that Red just so happened to go on his journey at the worst time possible, but I think the real reason is that Cerulean City is Pokemon's most evil city.